Alright, thought I would do a just random run here. Well, not random run, but a run with Awoken and Wormkin, Sentient and Reap. Just because I did see that there was a user that had been struggling with this combo. It's a combo I find pretty strong, so I could maybe just show what I generally look for on a run like this. So the reason I like the combo is there's a incredible spread of banner units between the two clans, both in the units themselves and the essences that they provide, so that you're pretty much impossible to miss on the banners. So that's already a huge benefit. Sentient's an okay champ. The real nice thing about this combo is sometimes, if I plan on going and visiting a lot of Wormkin banners, a path that usually isn't that good, which is Explosive Sentient, is actually pretty viable in this combo in my opinion. But we'll see. The starting cards here aren't necessarily that amazing. The bosses aren't too bad, but there's a lot of incoming damage, so we'll just have to make sure we got enough defense to deal with that. So it's a tough choice, because cultivating is almost always the choice. Even in this combo, I don't know that I would go explosive here. Here's the reason I'm probably not going to go explosive. We didn't start with any extra heals other than restoring retreat, which really isn't that useful to me. As a heal card, I might use it as an overstacking card, but that's about it. The cultivating is just nice because it works. Explosive requires me to invest in this unit to actually make it work, whereas cultivating, I can put it on my floor and it just does what it does, or I can put it on another floor if I don't want it on my main floor and it still does what it does, so it's just a really good path. If I saw... My current plan is Merchant of Steel. I generally prefer Merchant of Steel if I can help it. Only exception would be like if it was like an Umbra banner. You know, if I was playing with Umbra. If it was like Umbra over here and Wormkin over here, then I'd probably go to this Merchant of Magic. Otherwise, I really like to lock in a Merchant of Steel upgrade early on. Which means there's an Awoken banner here, which means I'm only really visiting one Wormkin banner, probably. So the reason I would go explosive is, the nice thing about it is, you got these restores which are pink, and then hopefully you can also get other heal cards which are also pink, but at the very least you'll have these restores which are pink, which, supports a game plan of Wormkin, especially if you're getting Inspire units such as Shard Skull Carver or Keeper of Echoes. They just work really nice with the explosive, but given that we're only visiting one Wormkin banner, most likely we should just take the cultivating. Okay, Tempered Talisman isn't that good, but early on it could be okay just to give some extra healing power. Other than that, it does nothing for our deck. Might as well just take the Forever Flame. Not that there's really that expensive units in this combo, but making them 0 cost is fine. I think I'll take this. We have Fracture's a very strong early game card. Our Train Stewards are free. We've got early game power. Might as well take the early artifact here. Okay. Obviously, we don't want Mark of a Champion with Sentient. Winged Steel is the best long term. Conscription would give us the most power right now, though. But I don't think I need early power. Granted, I would say Cultivate Sentient is at its weakest in Ring 1. But I don't know. Echo Snares, Fractures, we got a lot of power, Steel Enhancers. Also, just the fact that we got a lot of 0 costs already, and Wormkin has a lot of 0 costs, makes Winged Steel pretty good, so we'll take Winged Steel. And our units are 0. Alright, we'll take that, that'll just help us cultivate a bit. Probably will pay some fire health for it, but we'll see. We'll go up here. I can kill all of these, so I will. Take one of these out. Right, I definitely want to get the gold. That's unfortunate. We had a 1 out of 3 chance that that got enhanced, but, you know, such is life. Alright, I can take them out, but we definitely want to take this guy out. Even though there's no echoes here, I'm just going to put those in while I can. Then I can kill him pretty easily this next turn before he gets to me. I really don't want to take the hit from him on my top floor. So let's see, if I add one, I'd have to add 2 shards down here to kill it. I might as well just do this then. Do that, so he's dying, that's what we care about. Taking a little bit of fire damage, but so be it. Might as well put the stats there. Alright. So only 6 fire health damage taken, that's okay. I usually expect to take more with Cultivating Sentient, honestly, especially when we took the trial, took the shards, ended up with a shard enhanced crossbowmen. I think we turned out pretty okay there. Okay, so now this is, you know, from run to run, it's going to vary what you need to focus on in this combo, but I will say, if, you know, we didn't get a unit draft here, right? We got gold, so that even makes us less likely to have a game plan that really focuses on the Wurmkin side of things. That's kind of something you'll need to determine early on. Like I said, you kind of want to plan out your path. Now, even though I wanted to go to the Steel and Awoken Banner, I should mention that if I have huge reasons to like pivot over to a Wurmkin game plan, then we could, and then I can actually hit this Merchant of Magic. But you know, as I look at these, Sharpen is obviously just a horrible card. Basically, never take it unless you're really like desperate for scaling. Glimmer is always a decent one, but it's not pink. Wildwood Sap is always okay defensively, but again, it is pink. But if we don't care that much about Wurmkin stuff, keep in mind we haven't found, like, some reasons to care about Wurmkin stuff would be like having a unit such as an egg, a Shard Soul Carver, or Keeper of Echoes. Those would be big reasons to care about doing Wurmkin type stuff. Another reason would be to get a card such as Echo Infusion or Echo Transfer, which are giving you health or attack scaling at the cost of shards. We don't really have any of those yet, but we might end up with like some of them, so like that could give us reasons to want the pink card here. We generally, you know, even if we don't think we're going a Wurmkin route, it's still okay to lean toward the pink card generally. The pink card is generally going to be an okay choice. If there's any debate between the 3 choices, the pink card usually wins, so I'm probably going to take Wildwood Sap here. Another reason I might not be that interested in Glimmer is because I'm probably not immediately going to this Merchant of Magic. Glimmer's pretty bad at just 2 damage. It really needs. Now, we might hit the damage at the temples here, and we're probably hitting this Merchant of Magic. So Glimmer's still not a horrible pick. It's just not immediately going to be that impactful unless I get offered damage at the temple. And I already took 15 shards, so I may not even want to take damage. So I'll probably just take the Wildwood Sap here. Okay, and again, all of these are viable. I would say, if I'm generally speaking, Bounding Echoes is just a better card than these, but the Proclamation is pink. And as we kind of saw in that last fight, I don't have great tank removal at the moment, and if I brick on my Awoken units here, we may want this proc. And the Bounding Echoes is particularly better if, again, I cared about Wurmkin stuff, which right now I don't have a huge reason to care that much about Wurmkin stuff. So I think I'll just take this. It's only going to cost me 1 shard since it's pink. and it will do 50 damage, which I actually kind of need right now. Even if in the long run, proc often isn't doing that much for you. Now, one thing we got to keep in mind right now is we haven't hit on any scaling other than the steel enhancers that we started with and the cultivating sentience sort of revenge power there. So there's a plethora of scaling options that Wurmkin provides, but if we brick on all of them, at least we need to keep in mind that we have those. So that's a large stone and an echo stone and a thorn stone. None of those are particularly enticing, but we want to check them before we go to the banner. Because they might influence our decision on what to choose. So Glimmer would have been nice here for the piercing, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, this one's pretty easily a Shattered Shell. I mean, Thorn Hollow is workable, especially with Wurmkin, because I can double the spikes with that one rare card, but Shattered Shell is just going to work better right now with a Sentient. Now, when we reroll here, we're looking for multi-strike, or 25 health would be nice. The only other thing like, if it's quick, I don't know that I would take it because, as I mentioned, we don't actually have much scaling right now, and a lot of our scaling depends on being attacked, and if we're killing units before they attack the Sentient, that could severely impact our scaling, so I don't even know that I would take quick. And of course it gives me quick, of course it makes it the max amount of money, and of course it doesn't give 25 health. So this is a brick and a half here. Do I want quick on Shattered Shell? I might do it. If it was Husk Hermit, probably not, but the nice thing about Shattered Shell is at least I'm getting the scaling on Slay. So quick here isn't horrible. I will take it, but it does have anti-synergy with my hero. Something to think about. Also, we're up against Seraph the Temperate, which has a lot of Shade Wings. It's probably just fine. Like, if I was up against Seraph the Seraph the Patient, maybe I wouldn't take it, because I wouldn't want to take damage from Seraph the Patient. We don't have any good spell chain targets unless we want to spell chain a steel enhancer. I don't think that's that strong of a play. I'm probably just going to skip here. I don't feel particularly strong at the moment. I am glad we took that proclamation though. Okay, we definitely want to take the unit draft. This is the toughest group in my opinion, Penitent Prayers, and that's a pretty tough thing, but we took quick, so we're in a lot better spot. So I am glad that I took quick. Now, we could go bottom if we want to, but I'd rather just give I generally am going to go top almost always just to give myself a better shot at... might as well do that. Just to give ourselves a better shot at scaling in time. Alright, you'll go there. Put these here. Take that guy out at least. Do that. I want to try to mitigate our fire damage here if we can. We're going to take a one hit, it's okay. Definitely want to take one of them out. I guess it didn't matter though because I am quick, but whatever. Looks like that'll be just enough there. Cutting it a little close. Okay, a pink restoration detonation. Do I need that? We're definitely bricking so far on scaling. Maybe I should have took the spell chain on that seal answer. I don't know. Well, it is what it is. I don't think it's that powerful of a play. So we don't have Razor Sharp Edge. That's going to be a problem. We really hope to hit Echo Transfer here. If we don't, We're really going to hope to hit either a Keeper of Echoes, a Shard Soul Carver. Carver would honestly be my ideal one in this scenario, because then I would just put it into the Shattered Shell. Or maybe eventually an Animus of Will to give us multi-strike if I can't hit the actual spell upgrade, or the shop upgrade, I mean. Otherwise, we could get the the Echoes of the Past we could get later on for scaling with Wurmkin. If not, then we're at least hoping for like a Perfect Insanity or something to at least give us something extra here. I don't know if I want any of these cards, to be honest. Like the Restoration Detonation, I don't think is going to do much for us, so I'm just going to skip it. And we brick here too, so I mean this is a good example of a run where I'd say the RNG isn't going that well so far. We've completely bricked on Razor Sharp Edge, Echo Transfer, Echo Infusion, actual... Well, we'll see. We have a unit draft coming up. Maybe that can help us. The Shelter could be okay. It is pink, and even though we're awoken and we got healing capabilities, I don't necessarily have AoE healing since I skipped on the Glimmer, so it might be nice just to get a little bit of extra health on our Shattered Shell. I think I'll take it. Oh, okay. This is very interesting. 3 incredible units. Okay, the RNG, I just needed to complain about it, and then it turned around. So we've got a lot of options here. Honestly, the Steel Singer is what immediately jumps out as being pretty good. The thing is, I don't necessarily want to go it just because this video, I would say I'm trying to say what I'm typically looking to do in this combo, like, and you know, rare banner units, obviously they'll show up from time to time, but any particular rare banner unit only shows in about 20% of runs, so I don't necessarily want to turn this into a Steel Singer run, because that might defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to do here, whereas the Carver is much more in line with me showing off what I'm typically more looking to do here. So I think I'm going to take the Carver because it's a really good essence into the Shattered Shell. We will be a little bit wanting to find multi-strike, but we should be able to survive without it. We would love to find it, as you almost always will. The other option is we go with the Animus of Will essence. The only problem there is, you know, I'm pretty weak at 10 health. I think I definitely just like the Shard Soul Carver essence. I think we're fine with that. Plus it can show off more of the Wurmkin stuff here. Now if we go left, we're only really looking for multi-strike, and I can't even really afford to reroll for it, so might as well go to the right. Other than, this would be like a 25% chance to hit what we want, otherwise it's a brick. Whereas over here I can just find good stuff. Like, let's say I find a Keeper of Echoes, for instance. I would actually just not use Sentient on my floor. Or alternatively, I could set up middle and just Restoring Retreat down and overstack the floor. So there's definitely options still for Wurmkin. And then yeah, we might want to do a holdover. Okay, we have an Intrinsic, which I could put on the Restoring Retreat. So overstacking's looking pretty good. And there's the Keeper. Yeah, I'm going to use it. I think the Keeper is the best Wurmkin unit. And especially if it's free. Like, even if I'm not going to end up overstacking here, it's just absolutely going to be a good card for us to have. I don't have a good holdover target right now, so I'm not going to spend money on that. Let's check this. If it's something that can make my... Let's do this first. I know I want to do this, and it's going to increase the pip size of Shattered Shells, so if we end up with the Microstone event, I do want to do this beforehand. That way I just get the pip down before I have to increase it again. Okay, we didn't get it, but that's fine. Probably just take a Awoken's Rail Spike then. So I got a few options here. I could Intrinsic the Rail Spike, or I could Intrinsic the Restoring Retreat I'm leaning toward retreat, because like I said, I can overstack a floor with it. The only problem is I have to kind of... It's still a little awkward, because I would have to draw, like, all my units. So it's almost not even necessarily in my interest to intrinsic it. I would need to see permafrost here as well to make that play, I feel. But I guess I could hold it over. It's not the worst play, honestly. Since my units are free, I think we can do that. So we'll just intrinsic it and make it hold over. And we'll set up mid. And I may have to have an awkward thing where I still Ember Drain my units just because I need to play it, but it is what it is. Let's just make that cost one less. That way I can always play it for some value. We're not going to be spending money coming up, so I can spend this last money if it's useful, and it will be useful on that proclamation. And 30 power. I could put on the proc, but we're already at 50 shards. There's not a huge benefit for me making it do, 100 versus 300 damage. I'm still killing every tank in the game for quite some time. Well, actually not quite some time, but... Okay, we draw all 3 units here, which is great. We'll go ahead and put these down. And then I'll put that down here. And we might as well save on the shelter. But yeah, now we're getting what I like about this... the whole Wurmkin plan, which is passive scaling. Now with this type of setup, imagine that we're explosive sentient instead of cultivating sentient, and you can see that it's still pretty good, right? I can just spam the restores on sentient and I'll blast a bunch of units. That's kind of just the idea if I were to go that route. Okay, let's get you out of there. I guess I could have also just stacked another steward onto this, but I didn't think that was really all that useful. And the backliners are always going to die to my quick shell, so I may as well try to inspire as many times as I can on this floor. And I may even take an Ember upgrade since I have the winged steel. I know these all cost 0, but I don't know. There's definitely been turns here where I would have benefited from having an extra Ember. Not this turn, though. Alright, might as well... I guess we'll still use this here. Might as well scale the floor. These inspires are good. And again, I could put the damage elsewhere, but I might as well just inspire the floor. This is a good turn to put that shelter in. Now I'm so powerful, I could just bring probably this unit down and maybe kill it, but there's no chance, or there's no real point in that. And we have her more than dead here. But, might as well give her the full Monty here. Now, Perfect Insanity, this is a card I don't add that much, but if I had continued to brick, so remember the rough position we were kind of in for a little bit there until we started fighting these Wurmkin units. Let's say I was in that same situation, but I never found Keeper of Echoes, I never found Shard Soul Carver, and I never found any scaling, then I would consider Perfect Insanity, because then at least I have a reason to, I got this huge removal card that kills any tank in the game, and it also puts a ton of damage on any flying bosses, such as Seraph, Divinity, etc., etc., and it would give me an option to make up for my lack of scaling. But if I already have scaling, there's not a huge reason for me to want this. I still might take it here, though, to be honest, because the other cards don't do a whole lot for me right now. These are really good cards a lot of the time, but with my current deck, they just aren't really. I don't really have any extracts outside of this pink proc, so there's not a huge reason to have Eternal Kinstone. If it was pink, I might consider it more, because then it's a double Inspire. And Worm Connections, you know, that could be okay. I mean, I'm getting a Rail Spike back, I'm getting these Echo Snares back, and I'm getting the Shelter and the Wild Sap back, but half of them aren't even pink. I think I actually still will take Perfect Insanity here. It's pink so that, you know, the extract is only 5 and still gives me an Inspire, and it'll give me an option if I miss on Multi-Strike for the sweeper. And I generally don't put anything into Keeper of Echoes. I think Keeper of Echoes is just a really good unit on its own and doesn't need any essence to shine, and none of these would really benefit me that much, so we're just going to skip those. Now, generally, always take a draw upgrade, but we kind of already have a draw upgrade with that Wing Steel. I am tempted to maybe take the Ember here. There's also synergy with the Awoken Rail Spike for what that's worth. I think we take draw, though. I can take Ember later if I need it. We'll just see. So, like I said, the only unit I might put into the Keeper of Echoes would be an Animus of Will, just to get it multi-strike, but it's really not that necessary. I may just Hellvent another Keeper of Echoes, because keep in mind, I have a holdover Restoring Retreat. I might as well just put a bunch of these onto a floor, so that's what I'm going to do here. Keeper of Echoes is a unit that, having just one of, I don't think is that impressive. However, when you get 2 to 3 to 4, then you start really going. We could do this just to get our Pyre health back up. The other ones aren't that good of artifacts, in my opinion. No reason to flex into Explosive, might as well just do full Cultivate here. I mean, if I had like more heals, maybe, more pink heals, I could actually flex, but no need. This is fine, we're going to get our Pyre health back anyway, even though we're probably going to have to let the top floor through. Alright, we want to play this, and actually... yeah, I'll just do it here. It's a little awkward, but whatever. Probably should have just put the Steward up top and brought it down. I was trying to avoid Ember Drain, which was kind of pointless, to be honest. So, the question is, do I want to lose more Pyre health or do I want to get 75 gold? I think I'll take the 75 gold. So, we'll bring this guy down. I'll still kill one of these, so that's fine. Do that. So now all of them are dying. And I guess I could just do this and that's fine. Yep, we're looking good. Right, bring you down. Definitely I need an Ember upgrade. I think that much is clear. I mean, looking at that, yeah. So I definitely regret not taking the Ember upgrade, but you know, what are you gonna do? We're just going to have to take that damage up top. I really don't want this guy to hit us too many times, so let's try to put as much damage into him as possible. Wow, he still has a lot of health. Maybe I should have kept the Restoring Retreat coming, because I could bring him back down. This is definitely going to hurt, but again, what are you going to do? Try to see if we draw it. Okay, we didn't draw it. Let's just try to put a little bit of damage on him then. Can't play that this turn. Pretty bad draw orders, but again, what are you going to do? Try to play the consumables at least so we can get some of this pyre health back. It is awkward to set up mid like this with the restoring retreat. But it is what it is. Okay, Ensnare will be huge for us. Ensnare is just a card you always want to add pretty much across the board almost. It is that good. And it's pink on top of all that. Even if it wasn't pink, I'd be taking it here. Okay, we have two really good cards here. Soul Crushing Guilt and Revenge of the Damned. And the Revenge of the Damned is pink, which is pretty incredible because it would give us 2 Inspires if we're killing the enemy unit. And it's pretty easy to kill the enemy unit with it because any sort of damage upgrade will make it pretty powerful. That being said, there's no Merchant of Magic coming up, there's no Temple coming up, so there's no way to give it damage immediately. And there's no, this Merchant of Magic isn't necessarily something I want to hit because I value the Unstable Vortex quite highly at this point. I want removals. Same with this Merchant of Magic and this Merchant of Magic. They just have really bad nodes. I'd much rather hit Hellvent and Herzl Horde and Caverns, stuff like that. So we're probably not hitting any Merchant of Magics. That's something to factor in here. Vanilla, this card doesn't kill much, especially from here on out. So I'm probably not going to take it, even though it's worth considering in most runs. Absolutely, I'll take the Soul Crushing Guilt, though. It's just such a good card. Days 3 is so powerful in so many ways. I could go either way here. The problem with the steel is, as we've mentioned, it's really just multi-strike or bust. I could add a little bit of health, starting health, to the Keeper of Echoes. That's about it. Pyre health is alright, but theoretically I'll be back to full pyre health at some point. And the Caverns can always be alright, but if I go to the right, I get a free artifact, which, when Wurmkin is involved, is very good. You know, not all artifacts are distributed equally between all the clans. Like, I think Awoken has a pretty bad set of artifacts, but the Wurmkin has, like, basically hardly any bricks. Maybe 2 or 3 bricks on any given run, and the rest are absolute hits. Like, imagine if I could get a Karuska or a Bog Slime. Any of those are going to be really good, but pretty much all of the Wurmkin artifacts will be good for us. So if I get some free ones and I can spend some money on them and get free removals, this is absolutely the side that I will go to. Okay, Thornfruit could be okay, but definitely we're absolutely taking Karuska, and I'm probably going to take the gold and take Root Slit Mask. I did say the Awoken artifacts aren't that good, however, we're looking at the 2 best of them right here, probably. Root Slit Mask is absolutely, in my opinion, the best artifact for Awoken. And Thornfruit's pretty good too, especially if you're into Diligent. We don't really need it here, though, compared to these 2. These 2 are just going to be way better, so that's what we're going to take. We'll just take this to see what it is. Okay, we could do either of them. The Bloating Fungus does have a Wildwood Sap and the starting restorers for it, but that's just not going to outshine the Hell Pack, in my opinion, which makes this Rail Spike so much better. Even though we're not going to remove the Consume on it, we are Wurmkin, and we have ways to return Consume cards back to our hand, which now we're going to be on the lookout for. So take the Karuska, then take the gold, then take Root Split Mask. And I could remove here if I wanted to, but I do have a shop coming up, so I'm going to hold that gold. And we'll still just do these removals. Now, as far as what I want to remove, I don't need to remove the Stewards because they are 0 cost to me, and I just play them out, and then they're out of my hand. I'm thinking the Steel Enhancers. The Restores give me more stats to my board, and now that I have a Soul Crushing Guilt on top of the Insanity, and just good Inspire synergy, I think it's the Enhancer, because even the Echo Snare, at least it's consuming, so it comes out of my hand. So we're going to get rid of the Steel Enhancers. They just aren't that useful to me. Other than that, I don't have to really remove much from this deck. Okay, spikes into this guy and that troop. I don't think that's worth me taking. It's it's probably doable, but it's just not worth the risk for a random artifact. I would have probably done it for gold here, but the random artifact, even though it is a good artifact, I already found like some of the best artifacts I could find. So I don't need an artifact at this point. So why even like it'll cost me pyre health if anything, even if I win. So why even bother at that point? All right, I'm gonna do this time. We might as well just put the steward on the floor, even if it's gonna, Ember drain me or whatever. Put the steward up there. Put that up there. And luckily, because even though it's only a 3 attack, it's just enough to kill all them. So, boom. Now this big guy is going to be a problem. This is where we really wish we hit the ensnare here. We still could, 1 out of 10 once we hit the wing steel. What do I want to do this turn? Like, do I want to get Keeper of Echoes onto the floor? I think I do. I mean, I still have the Root Split Mask, but man, it does suck that we got this turn, huh? I will do this though. We might as well do this. I'm gonna throw this one away. Throw that one away too. And we don't have enough echoes to stun it, unfortunately. It is what it is. We're probably just gonna have to take some hits from that guy. Unless I can get enough echoes up here to perfect insanity it. We actually have the Root Split Mask working against us right now because I cannot actually use Restoring Retreat on this guy. I could also just ensnare the guy. Now we have a 1 out of 3 to draw it, so that's a pretty good chance. This guy is... Just gonna play these here then. Alright, let's ensnare you. See how many we can get for this. 6 cards, not bad. That's why I take the first Hell Pact over the other artifact. Now the question is, do I need to keep getting this floor inspired? Because it is a pretty powerful boss. Granted, we have one of the best boss killing things in the game between Soul Crushing Guilt and Perfect Insanity, which would just kill the boss outright. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do this. Try to start working, being able to do something up here, like even if it's just a proclamation, that's good. Yep, he's gone, perfect. Might as well let it hit us. We can heal back relatively. I don't think I really need to proc this guy. I can do this though. Just, I suppose we might as well proc him, right? Keep forgetting I have the Carrasco, which gives me an energy back. Which makes me wonder if I even need to do an Ember upgrade, honestly, because between the first Hell Pact and whatnot, like, I might just be fine. So we're killing him right here, but it is worth noting that also, guess what else pretty much kills him? That. Oh, and that. So, as you can see, this is why I consider Wurmkin pretty powerful. They have just such a good spread of what they can do. They can have good units, they can have good essences, they can have good scaling, and they have a great removal. They have a great utility. They are the best clan, in my opinion. Okay, we got a pink Awake, but that is pretty expensive, and as we've determined, we're not heading any Merchant of Magics. I don't know. It's pretty expensive. I'd have to hit a -2 to really be able to play it. I don't know that it's that necessary either. This is probably just a skip. Preserved Thorns is okay sometimes, but we don't need it. Could have actually considered the Edge Prior there, which is almost never a unit for me, but actually there are some reasons to have taken it there. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to take it. Okay, these are all fine. Forgotten Trade's the weakest of these cards, but it is pink and it's still an okay card. Return Soul could be pretty good. Return Soul's always good. I may take that one. The problem is we have a relatively thin deck as it is. A lot of it already consumes out, and I don't know that I gain much from it because most of my deck is already pink anyway. So it's really just allowing me to zero cost some cards back in, which I really don't need to do, I don't think. This actually might be a skip, and I don't really need a second Soul Crushing Guild. I could because I have Karuska, but I don't think it's like all that necessary. Let me double check why my music stopped. Just because YouTube sucks. That's why. Anyway, we're going to skip that, but you could take any of those cards, honestly. They're still really good. Alright, we're going to go this way because there is a 50-50 at multi-strike if you factor in that I'll re-roll if I don't hit it in the initial thing here. Plus I could just get maybe some health on my Keeper of Echoes to help out a little bit with surviving initially getting put down and not maybe being able to always, get Restoring Retreated down immediately. Other than that, some health is nice. Not really. Health isn't not that important to us at this point, but the Vortex in particular is pretty good. Alright, we bricked that, so we need to just double check, can I afford this and a reroll and a 120? So 25 plus 60 is 85. 85 minus 205 is exactly 120. So yeah, I can take this. We'll put that on one of these. Still want to get multi and Shattered Shell if I can. Alright, we don't get it. I could Large Stone one of the Keepers, maybe. We're going left, so we don't need to hold any gold here. I don't think I benefit huge from it. We're still going to hit this final steal because all of the good stuff is next to it. So that'll be another 50-50 at multi-strike. In the meantime, I could just put an Echo Stone on one of these. It's fine. Or I might want to put it on this one if I'm going to Hellvent it. The problem I don't really want to Large Stone it because then I can't play it middle if I draw it first. So we might as well just double up the upgrades here. Because I am going to Hellvent this Keeper probably one more time. Oh, it's a cheap Large Stone. Maybe I'll Large Stone one of them. I don't know, it still isn't that useful to me. I don't think I'm going to do it. Is there anything here worth taking? I could Intrinsic the Rail Spike, and that opens up some artifacts being pretty good, like the initial 7 energy relic, or the what do you call it? Even Hell's Banners, I suppose. It's pretty good. I think it's probably worth it. I gotta get to 100 shards anyway. And I'm probably not gonna infuse units from here on out. So I gotta get my shards somehow. Seems okay. -2 would have been a nice one to hold out for, but I'd rather... it's not that important. I could go to 100 right now if I want to do that. I just don't think it's that needed. Now, another thing I could do to get around having no multi-strike if I don't get it is I could just Hellvent the Shattered Shell. That's actually not a horrible idea either. So essentially we'd have 3 Keeper of Echoes and then 2 Shattered Shells. I don't usually run this many units, but this is what Restoring Retreat allows us to do. So what do we want to get rid of here? I feel like the Echo Snares are still like somewhat useful, whereas even though these are free, like they're not really that useful to me necessarily. So maybe I'll just get rid of them. But like I said, I don't really need to... Even though I do like the removals, I'm not in dire need of them at the moment. Now, we don't want to underestimate how much damage a relatively higher shard Fel can do to you, so we definitely want to focus on the middle floor here. Now, this is a weird one because... And we can always just Restoring Retreat an enemy. So, yeah, I'll still just do this. But I'm like... trying to see if I can... Alright, whatever. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna play that, play this. Alright, that's fine. That is totally fine. The awkward situation would be like if I drew all of my banner units there, but luckily we didn't. Put them in. Another thing is a large stone could be awkward in these type of situations too, but it's fine. So we're gonna bring you down first. Fortunately, man, I'm gonna, okay, it's official. I'm gonna take an Ember upgrade. Like, I really need an Ember upgrade in these type of situations. Okay, we're gonna go here. I really do want to get this guy down there. We got some problems though, don't we? I need to, here, let's go that. Man, I might have messed up if I wasn't... Okay, I think I'm fine. I need to remember that this gives me Ember. This is fine then. Can I go here, here, here? Should have brought him down first. Oh well. Might as well put this up here, not give that guy rage. Mainly we just need to make sure this backliner dies, which he will. But that guy will get through, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we really need to focus on getting this floor fixed. Yeah, I should have... kind of messing up here, but it's just whatever, it is what it is. Alright, let's do that. Can still restore some of our health. And yeah, I really do need to focus on this floor. We're just not really doing enough damage up here. Need to be able to kill Relentless, so that's what we'll focus on from here on out. Yeah, it's potential that my what do you call it? My intrinsic was not a good call on the whatever. But you know, it is what it is. On the what is it called? Awoken's Rail Spike. Because I'm not really getting as many reductions as I normally could. But, you know, at least the ceiling's there, I suppose. Just trying to get as many Inspires as possible. And we are good. Maybe I overcompensated a little bit here, but... just want to at least illustrate that you don't want to get caught by surprise by Fel. Probably paid a little bit more pyre health than we had to, though. Just because I focused a little bit more on middle floor than I had to. Okay, I don't like spreading spores, but it is pink, but it's also unlikely to get cost reducted. You know, we're just looking at 2 1 out of 3s. Unearthed Remains is okay. If I end up with a Bog Slime, it'd be a little bit better. I am taking an Ember upgrade. It does help with playing Perfect Insanity multiple times. I think I'll take it, but it's not a huge benefit necessarily. Alright, Spellchain Intrinsic, most likely not doing those. Okay, maybe Old Magic, you never know. Now, if this is a Ascend, if I can get an Ascend or a Descend on this, I want to make it good for my units, so let's put a Rage effect on it. Either way, it could scale. We'll do a buff as well. Alright, we got a push or a pull. Or sorry, a push or a descend. Push, pull, or descend. We should do descend then. I'm not going to intrinsic it. I'm only using this to help out with the Restoring Retreat. And then I'm just not going to play it. Now I kind of wish I had the Returned Soul, so I could just consume the card out. Now, you'll notice we've had... This is often a problem when you run Keeper of Echoes. I do think it's the best Wurmkin unit, but it does take a little bit to get going a lot of the time. And a card, artifact like Faulty Loader helps quite a lot with that. It just makes that first wave pretty much nullified. Is there anything I might want to spell chain? Honestly, I could spell chain like the Ensnare would be okay. It's not a bad one. It's pink, so yeah, I'll do that. Now we're at 100 shards. I'm gonna take one more of these like we planned on. Might as well go the full cultivating here. I think this is fine to take. Armor 20 is really not that hard of a trial. Probably the easiest one in general. Another awkward one. I'm just gonna have to do this, I think. If I put this down there, it wastes my melee weakness. This is again though the awkwardness of me putting this here means I can't get this down this turn. It is what it is though. Let's get you down. I'll put you there. Hopefully we can 1 out of 13 the Old Magic here. That would definitely make things easier. Didn't get it. I do regret putting the Steward up here. I think that really screwed up some things, but it is what it is. Put you down. That'll help a lot with damage. I do need to do this. I don't care about getting another unit on the floor. We'll have to determine how we're taking care of them. So that's a lot of power damage. Not the best draw order here. I can use this to descend enemy units, but this already kind of takes care of some of that. So these two are not rooted. I think I'm just going to take the damage because I do want these guys kind of on the floor here. Is certainly a lot of damage to take, but what are you gonna do? Alright, let's take one of them out. Bring that guy down. We kill the back line just fine here. Alright, we get through it. Okay, invigorating solution and it's pink. That is kind of acceptable. Still not amazing, but I'll take it. Okay, Wurmkin Spike does have the first Hell Pack. And the other cards just aren't that amazing, so we'll take that. So if we don't end up with multi here, I'm gonna Hellvent the Shard Soul, or the thing. That music is kind of loud, huh? Let's put it down a little bit. Cheater's Hand is pretty useless to us because we have the Winged Steel. Light's Gift is also not that useful to us because we're not setting up top. Vapor Funnel could be okay. Might buy the Vapor Funnel. Let's give you some health, even if it's not the best version of it. Okay, we got the multi. With the multi, I don't think I'm going to Hellvent any more units then. Still could. I mean, I don't know that I have necessarily any better Hellvents. Spell Chain, Intrinsic. If I take this, I don't know. I think I can do better. Alright, we didn't really get better. Just take this, I think. Give ourselves a little bit of buffer. And the rest of these will go into removals. We just get rid of the stewards. They're kind of the almost awkward thing in the deck at the moment. Alright, good to go. And what do I Hellvent? Do I Hellvent another Rail Spike? It might just be Rail Spike, honestly. That seems pretty decent. Yeah, I'll just dupe that. And, I don't know, Echo Snare we could get rid of. It's really not doing anything for us anymore. It's not pink, and yeah, get rid of that. Doesn't have a good, it's not a good one to draw with the Rail Spike either. Anything worth spell chaining? Not out of this. Alright, we're good. Should be a win, even if it was a relatively awkward one. Now keep in mind, like I said, if we didn't find multi-strike there on our sweeper, I'd probably just duplicate the sweeper then. It's not as good, obviously, as a multi-strike, but it's the same idea. It just takes more steps to get there. Alright, you'll go up there. Still very awkward draw order here. Alright, bring you down. Alright, put that there. Just get some stuff up there. I could play this down here too, I suppose, just to get that reap going. It's fine. Alright, you die. It's a pretty good card to get cost reducted. Old Magic we can't really play. Might as well just do that. Suppose we could bring Seraph down here. That would have been maybe better, but whatever. Almost got a flying kill on him. We'll see. Don't think I can. Yeah, doesn't look like I can get it here. Actually, what if I bring somebody down? Yeah, let's bring you down. Now, obviously, I'm just messing around here, but let's go ahead and kill him. Boom. Alright, we got the damage shield dudes. No big deal. Awkward, but what are you gonna do? At least we eventually got some units. So no old magic. I think I actually want to focus on statting this floor up at the moment. Just because it has the sweeper, and that's the unit that we care about. I also don't really care about dazing the middle floor, because 2 hits to my Sentient is actually quite beneficial to me. Yeah, they're all dying, let's just get that out of there. Let's try to play this so that we can get it played for free. I don't have to play that yet. Put the Reap there, just because that's the problem floor. Is that annoying mini-boss? I'll just have to try to find a better time to get that guy. It's stuff. Got that cost reducted again, which is nice. I should have put that guy down earlier, but whatever. It's all good. Oops, I didn't mean to actually... I should have stunned the main guy. Yeah, it doesn't matter. At this point, we're good to go. We are absolutely good to go. Try to get the flying kill here, which we should be able to get. Next turn we'll get it. Alright, so there you have it. Now, again, run to run, the game plan is not always going to be the same, but and honestly, it's rare that I'm using Restoring Retreat to like overstack middle. I wouldn't say I go out looking to do that necessarily, but it's just an option that showed up on this run. But one thing I certainly look to do is to build a floor of Keeper of Echoes. You don't always have to have overstacking to make that work. Just simply putting 2 on a floor is often good enough. You know, I could have not ran Sentient on my main floor and just ran like a 2-pip sweeper with 2 different 2-pip keepers and a 1-pip upgrade. And that would have been certainly fine. You know, it's just going to vary from run to run. And keep in mind there's other things that can help there. You know, we never found Razor Sharp Edge on this run. We never found Echo Transfer. And we never found... whatchamacallit. And if you don't know those cards by name, I'll just bring them up real quick in the logbook. First, I'm going to generate this challenge so that if you want to try this run on your own, just to play around with it, exempt applies declared. So if I go back to the logbook, I guess what I mean to say is like we didn't hit on some specific scaling spells that would make things easier. So Razor Sharp Edge is one of them. 10 attack for 1 mana is pretty good. And then for the Wormkin, 15 attack for 0 mana is also pretty good. So those are the 2 cards that early on that I was hoping to find, but we bricked on both. But as you can see, there's other options. But I guess what I mean to say is like we made up for a lack of those scaling cards by just really hammering home the Inspire synergy. You know, we put 3 keepers on a floor along with the Shard Soul Carver infusion. That's, you know, we're talking about every time I inspire the floor, I'm getting 3 attack and health from the keeper, and then I'm also getting the 2 attack and 2 armor from the Carver infusion. So I'm getting 5/5 every inspire to the entire floor. That definitely makes up for not hitting those spells. And the other spell I would be looking for, by the way, would be This one, Echoes of the Past, we didn't find that either. So it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if you don't end up with exactly what I did that run, there's a lot of other stuff to find. And honestly, I prefer to find the other stuff, because as you can see on this run, it was pretty awkward, and we lost a lot of higher health because it is awkward to set up on the middle floor, especially using a 2 Ember card to facilitate that overstacking. You know? So like I said, I don't typically need to do that. I just had to here because we didn't find any of the actual good scaling options for card drafts. We got all our scaling through the actual unit effects themselves. And it also goes back to what I said at the beginning. It was like, well, I don't see us hitting the Wormkin banners much on this map, but still, if there's any debate, we'd rather lean toward the pink cards, because you just often end up using Wormkin stuff. And even, you know, the card like Perfect Insanity does require you to have decent amount of pink cards in your deck. And it's a pretty good card when you need it. Like, it was pretty good for us. Definitely helped with killing bosses. I would say it wasn't super needed, though, honestly. Other runs might need it more. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If you ever have any runs that you're stumped on, feel free to send them our way, and we can, you know, me and others will be more than glad to run them and just show how we did them. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.